Namaste, welcome. So today we are going to work a little bit on toning the pelvic floor. This is really important in preparation for birth because the pelvic floor is going to support the labor. So it's going to support the arrival of your baby into this world. And I mentioned in another video that as much as it's important to tone the pelvic floor, it is also important to know how to relax it. So this video is focusing on some practices that can help tone it, but remember that it's always important to tone it as well as learn how to relax it and let go. So one thing that I want to mention about the pelvic floor is that when we practice yoga, we are always working with the pelvic floor. The pelvic floor is kind of a trampoline-like muscle that's kind of at the base of our pelvis, and it is supporting all the organs in the pelvis. And that includes the uterus, the womb, where your baby is now being nourished and is growing and preparing themselves for the arrival into this world. So during pregnancy, there is a lot of pressure on the pelvic floor. So that's why sometimes you might feel some pelvic discomfort. So it is important that when we practice, you remember to really listen to your body. And even if some of the practices encourage kind of going a little bit deeper, opening the pelvis, which is great for preparation for birth, but really listen to your body, because during pregnancy you are producing a hormone called relaxin, and that loosens and relaxes some of the ligaments in the body, and that can basically cause that you might not have so much support for your spine and in that pelvic region as well. So even though you might feel okay doing it, maybe the next day or a couple of days later, you might feel some discomfort, some pain in that region. So really listen to your body, never go 100%, always do a little bit less, so maybe like 65% of what you can actually do, just because of this powerful hormone during pregnancy, which is called relaxin. All of the exercises, all of the yoga practices that we do which involve movement of the pelvis are really great for the pelvic floor. And there are some practices that are especially great for toning, as they require quite a lot of effort, so you really have to keep it together, and there's a lot of toning happening at that time. So we're just going to do a couple of each, and just so you have something to work with by yourself when you're at home, and remembering always to be careful if there is anything that doesn't feel right. Just listen to your body, slow down or ease off, and if it doesn't feel good, just move on to the next practice. So as usual, we want to be sitting in a comfortable position, and you can cross your legs and you can place something under your sit bones. So it could be just a blanket, it can be a cushion. For today I'm using only a towel, but you can prop yourself as much as you need, and I'm always going to remind you this, just so you have that support for the spine, and that your knees are below the hips, and that your pelvis can be nicely balanced here, supported. So we're going to bring the shoulders forward, up, back and down, opening the chest, relaxing the shoulders down. And maybe just taking a moment to arrive in this space, in this moment. If you want to close your eyes, you can close your eyes. And just noticing your breath. And bringing your awareness to your pelvis, your whole pelvis, not just the pelvic floor. Just noticing that region, and maybe feeling the weight of your baby in front of your body as well. And maybe connecting to the pelvic floor as well. So it's in the area of your urethra where you pee, vagina, and your anus. Just noticing these spaces without making any changes, becoming aware. And taking a moment to honor your pelvis, where your baby is growing, where your baby is nurtured, and where your baby is being prepared for this world. And taking a moment to also honor your pelvic floor. Honor or acknowledge just the mere existence of the pelvic floor. And connecting to that downward energy that pregnancy is all about. Maybe feeling the connection between your body and the ground beneath you. And how that downward energy is going to help you bring this baby into this world. With the support of that downward energy, your pelvic floor and all the energy in your womb, your baby will be able to arrive into your arms. When you're ready, place the hands on your belly. You can create the yoni mudra, so creating a little triangle with your thumbs and your index fingers. And just take a deep breath here. Inhale deeply through the nose. And then exhale, maybe blowing out through your mouth. And then return back to your natural breathing. And when you're ready, return back by blinking your eyes. And slowly opening your eyes, you can release the hands. If you need, you can stretch the legs and give the legs a little shake. And then slowly coming back to a cross-legged position. So we're going to do some pelvic tilts. These are really great for the pelvis to bring circulation into the pelvis, and also great for the pelvic floor. So we just want to make sure that we start at a neutral spine. So again, finding that support, maybe of the blanket or cushion beneath your sit bones. Shoulders up, back and down. And we're going to use our arms as well. So we're going to bring the forearms together and the elbows together. So palms can be together as well. And as you inhale, start opening your arms out to the sides. Bring your chest forward, sticking the tailbone out. And you're going to squeeze the shoulder blades. And then as you exhale, round your back. And then bring the arms together. And we're going to tuck the tailbone under. Now inhale, open up, chest forward, tailbone out. And exhale, round the back. Tuck your tailbone under, and you can bring the chin to chest as well. Do a couple more in your own rhythm. Feeling that lovely tilting in your pelvis. Bringing circulation to your pelvis. And you can imagine your baby having a little bit of fun as well. And after the next one, we're gonna slowly return back. So from here, you can either stay cross-legged or you can bring the soles of your feet together, which is the butterfly pose. This is a great pose for pregnancy. It brings that, it really is all about the downward energy, and also it opens the pelvis, so preparing yourself for birth. And you can bring the feet away from you as much as you need. And we're going to do some circles, some pelvic circles. So keep your spine nice and long here. Feeling that opening in your groin, in your pelvis. You can rest your hands on your shins, on your ankles, or maybe even close to your knees, wherever you can reach, wherever is comfortable. Have space for your bump here. So we're going to just gently start rotating from the hips. Keep both of your sit bones on the ground, so we are just circling from the hips. See if you can stay connected with your breath the whole time. Good. And now we're going to change direction, so circle in the opposite way. And if you like, you can add some humming here, just for one more circle. Inhale through the nose. And then slowly returning back. If you feel dizzy by making the circles, you can make them very small and gentle. That's also very nice, just bringing that circular motion, which is the spiraling circular motion, is the way the baby is going to come into this world as well. So from here, we're going to come onto our hands and knees, onto all fours. So I invite you to place a blanket under your knees, or a towel. I'm using a towel, but blanket probably is nicer. And we're going to open the knees as much as you need. So what I would like us to do here is the pelvic floor connection. So as we have the three parts of the pelvic floor, we can do it one by one, so you can really feel it. So open the knees as much as you need. Bring the hands onto the ground. You can have them under your shoulders, separating your fingers. If there is any wrist issues, if you have any numbness, you can make fists, bringing the thumb inside and just staying on your fists. That can work as well. Now, if you feel that your hands are just a little bit not comfortable, you have discomfort, numbness, or they're swollen, you can come onto your forearms. That's also okay. So choose whatever feels good for you. So what are we going to do? We're going to bring the spine to neutral, so shoulders are back, gently drawing the belly button towards the spine, so we have nice long spine. We're going to inhale and lengthen through the spine, and on the exhale we're going to tuck the tailbone under, and we're going to round the back, bring the chin towards the chest. And then we're going to inhale, lengthen the spine. As you exhale, round the back, bring the chin towards the chest, tucking your tailbone under, and see if you can engage the pelvic floor, so your urethra, where you pee, your vagina, and your anus. So contracting, lifting. Good. Now inhale, relax, lengthen the spine, relax the pelvic floor. Let's do two more like this. As you exhale, round the back, chin to chest, tuck your tailbone under, and see if you can lift the pelvic floor. So engaging the urethra, the vagina, and the anus, as if you were holding to go to pee, or to go for number 2. Good. Inhale, lengthen. Let's do one more. Exhale, round the back, tuck your tailbone under, and lift the pelvic floor. So you can imagine it like a jellyfish as well, lifting up. And then on the inhale, lengthen your spine and relax the pelvic floor. Good. Now, sitting on your heels if that's comfortable, just giving the hands a little shake. So the main thing here is that we inhale, we lengthen the spine, and we let the pelvic floor relax. And when we exhale, we tuck the tailbone under, the pelvic floor lifts. So you can imagine it as holding or contracting, lifting, whatever works for you, whichever word works for you. So we're gonna do that now again in a lunge position. So before we go for that, if you want to bring your hands forward and just do a couple of circles from your hips, nice intuitive movement. Birth, pregnancy is all about tuning into that inner wisdom of your body, and then change direction. And then slowly come back to center. Good. Now bring your blanket or whatever you're having under your knees. You can bring it under your right knee, and then we're gonna bring the left foot out. So if you have any pelvic discomforts, this might not work for you. So you might prefer to just stay on both of your knees and just circle here in both directions. So if that feels better for you, just go for it. Listen to your body. If it's okay for you to put that left foot out, just bring it out as much as you need, and you can bring it a little bit forward as well. So what we're going to do here, we're going to connect to the pelvic floor as well. For support, you may want to tuck your toes under of the back foot. So if that feels better for you, feel free to do that. And here we're going to go into the lunge on the inhale, and on the exhale we're gonna lift the pelvic floor. So really contracting, hugging from the pelvic floor, and then we're gonna come up. And we're going to add arm movement. So as you inhale, go into the lunge. Bring your arms up. And then on the exhale, hugging the pelvic floor, releasing the arms down. If your knee is going too far beyond your ankle, you can bring that foot a little bit further. See also how deep you want to go in the lunge. Inhale into the lunge, raise your arms up. Exhaling, hugging, lifting the pelvic floor, and then coming back. Let's do a couple more. Inhale, forward, arms up, and exhale, release and engage your pelvic floor. One more. Inhale, relax the pelvic floor. On the exhale, we're gonna hug and lift, release the arms down. Very good. Now you can bring your hands forward onto the ground. Bring your left knee back, and we're gonna change. So bring that towel or blanket under your left knee this time, and then bringing the right foot forward and out to the side as much as you need. When you're ready to come up, you can come up. And remember, you can always go back to both knees to do some circling from your hips. So see what feels good. And here, let's do the same. So we're gonna inhale, go into the lunge, really opening the pelvis, raise the arms up. On the exhale, we're gonna hug the baby, hug the belly, and lift the pelvic floor. And we bring the arms down. Inhale, open up, relax the pelvic floor. Exhale, lift the pelvic floor. Let's do two more. Inhale. And as you exhale, feel that lifting. So you need to really engage here. Inhale, relax, let it go, let it release. And exhale, hug and lift the pelvic floor. And then just relax. Good. Now, you can bring your knees together. We're going to come up to standing from all fours. We're going to come up to standing, tuck your toes under. You're going to inhale. As you exhale, hug the baby, so drawing your belly in, lifting your knees off the floor, lifting the hips up, and walk with your hands towards your feet and your feet towards your hands. And then slowly we're going to lift up. Keep the belly drawn in towards the spine, and then the shoulders release down, lifting the head up, looking forward. And here we're going to do a couple of practices standing up. So we're going to do the chair pose and then the goddess pose. So they are all great for really connecting with the pelvic floor, and you can add that lift for the pelvic floor. So it's exactly what we did when we were doing the pelvic floor connection in all fours. And in the lunge as well, so you can try to really connect with that, and it requires quite a bit of effort, so it might be easier to connect. So let's start with the chair pose. So you want to have your feet apart, maybe hip distance apart or maybe a bit closer, whatever feels good for you. If you have any kind of pelvic discomfort or pubic discomfort, maybe keep the legs a little bit more together, and you might enjoy placing a block between your thighs. If that feels good, it can be nice because you'll be squeezing it and it can actually feel nicer. So you can do that as well. So what we're going to do, we're going to raise the arms up above the head, and as you inhale, slowly start sitting in your imaginary chair and bring the arms back behind you. So bring alongside your body and slightly behind. Try to keep the knees just above the ankles or maybe your toes, not too much forward. Feeling that engagement in your tummy. And then see if you can connect with the pelvic floor. So connecting with the three parts, the urethra, vagina, and the anus. Good. Now we're going to inhale. And on the next exhale, slowly start lifting up. And then we're going to inhale again into the chair pose. So feeling that engagement in your tummy, and then maybe lifting the pelvic floor. So contracting, engaging the three parts of the pelvic floor, the anal, the vaginal, and the urethral. Good. Inhale. On the exhale, slowly we're going to lift the arms up and come up. And then release the arms down. Very good. Maybe shake the legs. So this is a nice way to connect with the pelvic floor, because when you are in the chair pose, there's already a lot of engagement going on. So you might feel that it's much easier to do it. So it's really worth experimenting with the different ways of connecting to the pelvic floor. So the next one we're going to do is the goddess pose. And in the goddess pose, there's a couple of things to be aware of. So if you have any pubic or pelvic discomfort, you may want to keep your legs a little bit closer together, so maybe hip distance apart and feet parallel to each other. That might feel better for you. Otherwise, we're going to open the feet out to the sides and have a nice long stance, so maybe 1 meter, feet 1 meter apart or so, whatever feels comfortable for you. And if you are in your third trimester, over 32 weeks, in pregnancy, and maybe your baby is not in the optimal position, if it's in transverse position, OP, or breech, maybe or maybe you're not sure as well. That's another one. You want to keep your feet parallel to each other. This is just so we don't encourage the baby to go deeper into the pelvis when they're not in an optimal position, because they can still turn around before your baby is due. So otherwise, we're going to open the feet, and the toes are pointing out to the sides. And we're gonna again do this engagement with the pelvic floor. So we're gonna place the hands in Yoni Mudra on the womb space. Inhale. And then slowly start bringing yourself into this half squat position. So your knees are just over your toes or your ankles, and they go in the direction of your ankles or your toes as well, not going in or out too much. Good. Now we're going to work with the pelvic floor connection on the exhale as we go up. So inhale, and on the exhale slowly start lifting up and engage the three parts of the pelvic floor. Bring the arms up to the cactus position, and then we're going to inhale into the goddess, hands on your belly in Yoni Mudra. And on the exhale, coming up, drawing belly in, engaging the pelvic floor muscles. Inhale into the half squat or goddess pose. Exhale, lift up the pelvic floor and come up. 2 more. Inhale into the goddess, Yoni Mudra, over your womb. Exhale, lift up the pelvic floor and come up. 1 last. Inhale. Relax the pelvic floor muscles here. And then exhale, coming up, lifting the pelvic floor. And then slowly release down. Well done. Now let's bring the feet together. You can zigzag them to the center. To come down, we're going to step forward with one foot. You can step back a little bit more with the back foot. We're going to bend into the front knee, hands on the front thigh. Inhale. On the exhale, draw the belly in, hugging your baby, and release the knee to the ground. And then we're going to bring both knees together and slowly come to one side and come to a comfortable seated position. Propping yourself under your sit bones again. Finding that neutral spine. And let's inhale, raise the arms up. And on the exhale, we're going to twist to the left side. So bring the left arm behind, right hand onto your left knee. And on the exhale, we're going to look to the left side or gently looking behind if that's accessible. Now as you inhale, slowly come back to center. Now as you inhale, slowly come back to center. Raise your arms up. Exhale, twist to the other side. So your right arm behind, left hand on the right knee. Look to the right or gently look behind your right shoulder. And as you inhale, slowly come back to center, bring your arms up. And then exhale, release the arms down. Bring your hands to the heart center, Namaskar Mudra. And let's finalize with one Om. Inhale. Om. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you so much. So these are just some practices you can do for connecting to your pelvic floor. I hope that some of them will be useful for you and that you enjoyed this video. Thank you.